What is up, Ludio Juan, Mr. Rockin' the Bucks jersey with your name on it? I've seen it. It's the coolest thing ever. Oh, and by the way, good timing, my friend, because we just won the NBA championship. I think it was 6. I think the prophecy was fulfilled. NBD, everybody. You're talking to 2 people who have known an NBA champion in their lives. So, big deal here. Universally, yeah. It's kind of crazy. Yep, it really does. Bucks and 6. Bucks and 6. Wasn't there like a Wayne's World thing like that? They like introduced themselves. I can't remember what it was. There was some sort of like alternative greeting that they would use, and I loved it. That's what Bucks and Six reminds me. Yes, man. Welcome back, Web Train. Maybe. Mm-hmm. You're coming through loud and clear for me, my friend. You sound great. Ah, the old mixer. I appreciate Web Train stopping by. Always glad to see you on the pickup here. And see on my end, I'm hearing such a beautiful melodic voice. It's fine. Everything's fine here. Now that would be a show. Ventriloquism on Twitch. Meanwhile, I've added a new element to my Twitch stream. Finally now sitting in front of my gaming center as opposed to the computer area. And I currently am rocking some Rampage World Tour on N64 because, you know, some days you need something you can just sit there and punch and beat up stuff. Which, fun fact, friends, I did not know, but Rampage World Tour, a lot of Wisconsin towns in this bad boy. Milwaukee, Green Bay, Kenosha. I'm kind of impressed. I'm wondering if there was some Midwest developers that did this game.
Dare I say I have microphone again?
Microphone?
How we doing now, Web Train?
Microphone.
There we go. Problem solving.
Dude, you're good at problem solving.
Oh, it's a late night. I'm doing what I can to get through. I kind of wanted to do the PJ Tucker bring a little bottle of bubbly as we were still playing.
Haha.
But it was
Dude.
just like, all right, like dealing with some of the OBS issues. I was like, we'll stick to some a little bit more modest beverage to start the night at least.
Dude, he's just an all-time classic NBA guy. Like, whereas like Giannis and everybody is like morally hardworking and just like, you know, we're going to do it. He's up there just 2 bottles of big Dom Perignon, just housing it.
Well, I guess he brought it for the whole team too, because he saw some people were drinking like other stuff that wasn't as good, and he's like, "Well, hold on, we're gonna fix that." And he absolutely just is like handing out bottles, and everybody's going nuts. He was, and people were taking pictures of him. Like, it's like the second or third time now I've heard in the playoffs where he actually just goes out amongst people in the city, just like
I can
anybody.
see that.
And a couple different spots, and I forgot where he ended up tonight.
I know they're at 7:20 on Tuesday, and I don't know if they ended up going back or not. That was the spot.
That's the kind of stuff that makes me want to bring him back, though. I mean, obviously we had a really, really good kind of vibe with the team. The team gelled insanely well.
Yes.
And I know contracts are always an issue, but like that type of, I'm just going to jump into the community with you guys is awesome.
Yeah, well, and like, you know, he's one of the elder statesmen on the team, you know? Like, you need a dude like that who's, like, seen some things, you know? Like, there's just kind of an OG in the league. I really felt like that was always missing from our team. Him and Bobby both, you know? Like, you need some vets, some guys who get some street cred, you know, wearing $250,000 sneaks. Like, you got to have them.
We dogs. We dogs.
Yeah, that was great. Did you go to the thing today?
I was working, so.
I went down to it. It was the parade was cool. The ceremony itself wasn't so great, but it was still cool to be there, you know.
I followed it pretty much on TV. I mean, that's kind of one of the benefits of the job for me at this point.
Yeah.
Is TVs are pretty at the ready.
Yes, that's awesome. But yeah, it was cool. You know, I mean, it was just a good scene, and like, you know, all I've ever seen of stuff like that is like Jordan. They used to show like the Bulls ones, you know, when it was like Steve Kerr and all those guys being awesome.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to get that experience, in our city.
Web Train was there as well. David commented and he said, Brian Cologne, I miss Cologne or Colon. That's how it's spelled. I'm going to go with Cologne. Sounds a little bit extra. He was actually from Chicago, and he was the designer of the original Rampage.
Oh, nice, man. Okay, that makes sense. As I'm like, there's way too many Midwest towns in this game for someone not to be from.
Or they just really, really hate the Midwest, and they're like, you know what, monsters? Yeah. Go destroy absolutely every town that you can stumble into.
Yeah, that could be. I guess that is kind of the nature of the game, just to destroy. That's funny. It's pretty wild. I mean, I've probably used 100 continues. I would be shocked if there's ever been anyone who's beat this game without using a continue. Now, I'm sure there is, because there's always something like that. But, this is not easy. Just constantly planes and airplanes shooting you down. And then there's these little, sentinel things, like in X-Men, that, just destroy you and turn you into dust. Pretty wicked. You can't seem to beat them. So,
there's
not to take away any thunder from the actual game we're going to play, which is going to be way awesome.
Yes. But obviously, it's a little bit more sports themed again. Coming out of the All-Star break, we were excited to really dive into a true classic, I think, in console gaming, and it was RBI Baseball. So, hey, Dan has joined us. Welcome, Dan. But yes, we are diving into RBI Baseball. There are 2 Brewers in the game. Before we jump into it, any guesses on who? Brandon, I do believe I've told you this. So we'll see if any of our viewers can chime in with who the 2 Brewers are in RBI Baseball from the Milwaukee team at that time. Dan says Robin Yount and Paul Molitor. He's got it half correct.
Always half correct, Dan.
Partial credit. I'm a fan of partial credit. We can roll with that. Gantner, no. Paul Molitor is 1. Bill Schrader, The Rock, is number 2.
Wow.
He apparently had just a monster first half, and from there he was just like, all right, we're going to, that stat, and that's when they built the game, and that's what they put him in as.
I wonder if Bill Schrader knows he's in the game, himself. Probably doesn't even know.
Yeah, because even when I said Schrader catcher, I'm like, was there another one? I'm like, and it was trying not to be the homer where it's like, oh, yeah, that's totally Bill Schrader in there.
Right. Whoa.
But yeah, that was it was exciting to see, and then so really just diving in, played a little bit at reopening day, and it was one of those things. As soon as people heard their music, they're like, "What the F is this? How is this going on?"
Right.
Pardon me for 1 second, if I may be so rude.
I may have to do some research on this Brian Cologne fellow, developer from Chicago. There's a lot of funny nuance in this game. The chick that talks during the level change is, pretty ho-ish. And, this is a kid's game, I would think. Maybe it's not. But, that's kind of interesting to me. What's nice is you can just sit here and destroy stuff, which I'm grateful for.
Sorry to keep everyone waiting and just bail all of a sudden, but I figured this is the first time the Bucks have won the championship in 50 years. We're gonna celebrate a little. I didn't want to leave it hanging as what if. So we're gonna PJ it up a little bit. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Bucks in 6.
Dude, we did it. We can't go back and lose. The series is over. That's always my big, I have a nightmare. Somehow there's another game left that we can blow. But it's no, it's over. We can't lose. We are the champs.
I'm going to save the spraying for after the episode off camera. Just to make sure that what we do have working kind of stays that way for now.
I appreciate that. It's an adult move.
Yeah. I kind of want to even do it even more now that you said that. But
Man, I can't blame you.
But so we're gonna obviously probably talk one or two things more about the Bucks and the postseason, just because it was insanely awesome for fans, for the city, for the team, across the board. We're gonna get into some RBI baseball and also some collector news a little bit afterwards. We were both saying that and I don't know if I told you this. Like I think I messaged you on one of our social media that I found something that I think you're really gonna enjoy.
I'm excited for that.
As a collector. So like it's something that I'm definitely going to jump into as well, and hopefully not fill up the shelves too crazy, but it seems too cool to pass up.
Well, and I mean, it's a little bit late, so I don't know if anybody on the line knows, but like I'm still waiting on some details of who bought the $1.5 million Super Mario. Like I'm hoping at some point the buyer like comes out. I think it was on Heritage, but like I really would like to know the story behind that because that caused a lot of hullabaloo. Do you know?
What would be the most you ever pay for? Like, I mean, I know like value is kind of built into it, but that's a lot of hell. That's a hell of a lot of money to like just drop for like a game you're not going to open, not going to play. I'm not saying you can't go get a $20 copy of Mario 64 anywhere to keep playing it, but like,
yeah,
it's $1 million.
Yeah, well, that's what I would really like to just get some details, like the various podcasts that I listen to, and that sort of like we're giving, some talk track on it. There's so much speculation. Is it money laundering? Like, is it, market manipulation? Like, is it Heritage, just like shilling, like, bidding it up? Because apparently Heritage even says like in their fine print that they can like apparently just bid things up to make people pay more. Is it like a YouTube personality type person like Logan Paul who just like goes out there and buys things, without even looking?
It's like, what? I just made some random ton of money from half boxing Floyd Mayweather. I'm gonna get a Mario,
right, I mean.
$1 million Mario Kart.
Right. Like, is it just money laundering where it's like, well, I'm just gonna, try to like smooth this out, or like what I think is the case, which is like it's just someone who is already sitting on 50, graded Super Mario 64s and is like, well, if I bid this up, it means the rest of my Mario 64s are worth more. Like,
yep.
I don't know. I'm super intrigued by that. Well, but I just want to know, like, if they come loose.
Yeah, there's a little bit. We'll dive into that a little bit more, too. We were talking, Web Train and Dan and a few others were talking a little bit about Game 3. And I think before we get into RBI, it's kind of a nice little wrap up to like even the Bucks intro. They were saying Dan saying after the second game, they both texted him and his buddy texted each other. Can't win in 6 if you don't lose the first 2. Web Train went to both game 3s after going down 0-2, so he's pretty sure he had something to do with it. I'm gonna co-sign that. There's little things I did ever since the Brooklyn series. I never wore a dark shirt anytime the Bucks played. Bucks colors, Bucks jerseys, Bucks tees, everything. This thing stayed in the drawer until we were done, or until like off days when I could support the team. Never a black shirt though.
Yeah, I think I can. I think I could echo that. I only wore my Yiji and Lang jersey. I wore my Terrell Brandon today, but I stopped wearing my Terrell Brandon jersey. I don't know if anyone followed me on social media. I got to do a pretty cool thing for Game 3 of this finals. I got to be in the press room for that game and also be courtside for the game via credentials that you get when you work the press room. So I got to see Bobby Portis and like all these dudes just being real dudes. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's such an awesome experience.
That was neat. And then I went to the championship game, Game 6, and that was, as a sports fan, that was far and away the most surreal experience of my life. Like, I think, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, Tommy, but like after I was in the district for Game 4, the home game, I was with you. Yeah, we watched it together. And I was going to say, we were there together. But I stayed, and at the end of the game, I went outside right as it was ending just to listen, to like hear the district, right? Like, what does it sound like when you're about to win? and it was so loud. And I remember thinking, like, wow, it is really loud. But I got the sense of what it would be like if we won the championship. Like, I just got a glimpse. I'm like, I think it's going to be nuclear. And I can honestly say, when Chris Middleton hit that late jumper with like 50 seconds left, and then the Suns came down and hit a three, it was like collectively the entire arena all of a sudden realized, like, we're not going to lose. Like, this is for real. And everyone went absolutely batshit. Like, it was so nuclear. That was like the coolest moment to me, because like as soon as everyone realized, like, oh my God, like, we're going to win, they just lost it. Like, the fans lost it. Some of the players started to lose it. And then, the game continues on because there's fouls and missed shots and blah, blah, blah. But like, that was something I will never forget for the rest of my life.
And even Brandon Jennings too. Like, after, if you saw his reaction after that Middleton three, just like courtside and just leaping out the building. It's awesome to see. And like Dan, he said he was for Game 6. He was in the district with the fam. I was there as well, and it was such an insane experience.
Was it? Yeah, I was outside. Was it just complete anarchy? I was told at one point they like shut the lights off because it was getting like too crazy or something like that. Because my friend runs the AV out there, and he was like, apparently the police like told them to turn the lights off and like cool it off for a little bit because it was getting too crazy. Did you see that? Is that true? Like, I didn't get any other reports of that.
I didn't see anything like that. I mean, I was a little closer to Turner Hall, so I was kind of in a bubble to see all the goodness that way. And it really gave you a bird's eye view of the entire district. And I mean, it was great for watching the people, the game. You couldn't see the score on the screens or whatever just because of the distance. But it really gave you a bird's eye view of everything going on. Everybody seemed cool. Even walking up all the closed streets, there was very little drama. Everybody was just out having a great night. And I think a little stuff happened afterwards. But it was, I mean, honestly, for everything that all the people that were there, crammed in that tiny space as long as they were for as many days as they were, I think it's another thing for the city that definitely is a nod to how awesome it is here.
Yeah, for real. Magic had said only like one of their employees got punched in the face apparently, but other than that, like, I mean, I agree with you completely. Like, I feel like Milwaukee showed exceptionally well, and even today, man, like, it is the most diverse crowd you'll ever want to see of every which way. Yeah. And still, everybody's chill. Like the Bucks and 6 thing you alluded to, like, everybody's chill. And it's been a long time since I feel like that type of camaraderie has been present in the world at any place. Yeah. Like church, you know what I mean? Like, there's nowhere where it's just like complete unification around a topic. So that was really cool. I agree.
And even I think the news was kind of touching on that too, where it's just like, hey, this sets a great example of what we can do, and there's no need for us to really, get to fisticuffs or get crazy in each other's face for anything in the city. And we can really make some awesome stuff happen.
Well, and it helps, like, I mean, I think it helps, and we could talk about it all day, but like the team, Giannis, Bobby, I mean, these guys are just like the greatest guys in the world. Yeah. Like, and the only thing I might have mentioned to you that really drove that point home for me was like, my dad lives in, West Texas, and he has himself some opinions, as a lot of West Texans do. And he actually comically missed the championship. Like, I called him the day after just to check in and say, hey. He's like, oh, yeah, looking forward to the game tonight. And I'm like, I hate to break it to you. We won the title. And he was like, what? And he was just like, I was like, yeah. And I'm like, how did you miss this?
I'll sell you tickets to Game 7.
Yeah, I was like, how did you not, like, see a piece of news? Like, I mean, it's very typical him. But then he was just like, I like them Milwaukee boys. He's like, LeBron James, can't stand him. He's just like, he hates all of the NBA, like, prima donnas and, like, and whatnot. But he loves Milwaukee. And I'm like, that's just so indicative. Like, he's just a West Texas, good old boy. And, like, he's watching the Bucks going, I like them kids. And it's like, wow, if you've turned him, you know what I mean? Like, they're such an impressive group. It's just wild. Like, all kudos to them as people. And they're very good basketball players. But, like, Drew, all of them, man, they're really great.
Yeah, I mean, the Giannis speech, even the whole, like, he did it his way, the right way, not the super team.
Yes.
Being a jersey chaser, essentially, as a player.
And to get to say that, like when you're sitting there at the podium
with the
in his
trophies, like,
position,
okay, say I'm wrong. Look what I got in my hands. Say I'm wrong.
that's what I'm saying. He's untouchable. And I'm really impressed because like he's already a Hall of Famer. He could retire tomorrow and he'd go in the Hall of Fame. Like,
And his statue starts getting built tomorrow in this city, 100%.
yeah, it's just crazy. It's just kind of like he could already retire. And so you can't really say anything against him. Like, I guess I didn't realize there's been talk about him already being the second best international player of all time besides Olajuwon. I guess that was interesting to me. I was like, maybe I'm undervaluing Olajuwon. Like, I guess I might have already put him near the top.
Bias?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I know like Olajuwon got 2 titles, so maybe that's just what it is. And I know he's very good deep. So maybe it's recency bias, but like, if I was putting my list together, I guess I had Dirk higher. And then I was reminded, like 1 title and like, I don't know if he ever got maybe won 1 MVP, whatever. Like, I don't know how you feel about it. That was interesting to me.
Yeah, and everybody's saying it's cool to see it. Dan was commenting how just being a basketball fan for years, loving how this team got it done. And even like talking about the international players that like you said, Hakeem, absolutely in the like top 5 conversation. Dirk, Giannis, without a doubt. It's the era we kind of grew up watching, and if you think about European players, Drazen Petrovic comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Sabonis comes to mind. And Sabonis would have been, I think he still is in the Basketball Hall of Fame, but he would have been in it for his NBA, but he was over in Europe for so long.
Yeah, Yao Ming maybe.
Yao would definitely be up there.
But a lot of those guys are more like, and this isn't an affront to them, but a lot of them are more novelty, like, dudes because of their stories. Like Arvidas, right? Like Arvidas was a super stud, but he didn't come over till a lot later in his career, unfortunately. And so, like, a lot of guys had glimpses, but they never, like, were at the pantheon. And it's like, Giannis is at the pantheon, like, not just of foreign players, but, like, of any player.
Yeah.
And it's also really intriguing to me, too, because, like, I've heard some dialogue recently just about, like, inner NBA talk from people I know who are deep in the NBA. And they're like, there's a lot of really annoyed NBA guys about all these foreign dudes. Like, if you look at the last 3 MVPs, like, it's all foreign dudes. Like, Joker, Jokic, Giannis. Yeah. Like, it's all foreign dudes.
The Saul brothers, I totally forgot about them.
So it's kind of like the way it's being taken is sort of like an addendum on, like, the AAU circuit for the NBA All-American players. And, like, I also think to that same vein, so there's that anger that's sort of permeating. And you look at, like, you look at the FIBA, like, you look at the Olympics right now, and it's like, yeah, man, like, it's changed a little bit. And, like, Devin Booker is number 1 on that list to me of indicative of that next generation. Like, it's basically soccer, in my opinion. Like, these guys just play around.
Do you mean Evan Booker? No D.
Yeah, that's good.
No
that's
D.
Good. But, like, it's just that, and I mean, not to sound like an old head, but, like, the game is just so different. So, like, when Giannis and the Joker and these dudes just come out and play solid basketball, it's
style of play. It's I think it's less ability and sometimes just style of play. And I mean, to your point, like the teams they come up in the AAU leagues, unless you play in a system like a Popovich system, like anything other than iso ball. I mean, that's the problem with TMECA. I'm surprised we can still field a team. I mean, we have 6 people going in Tokyo right now.
Yeah, right. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be very interesting to see how this Olympics shakes out. But I would go so far as to say, like, there's been a referendum on American AAU basketball, and it's like it was already going to shit when, like, Sonny Vaccaro and all those guys, like, monetized it. But, like, based on what I'm seeing, like, it'll be very intriguing to watch. And that's not to say that
stuck up for the players too, though. Like,
yeah. But I'm just saying, like, the monetization, like this NIL stuff that's out now, like, and the way it's changing the game. Like, I just saw Mikey Williams today is already going to get millions and millions of dollars, and it's like, the league has always been an entertainment league, but it really feels to me like the game is simply becoming entertainment, like WWE, because, like, the flailing and just the general, like, prima donna nature, is sort of like,
Yeah.
and Giannis just goes in there. He's the alpha predator. Like, that dude doesn't play that way because
Yeah.
he grew up on the streets, and he's like, $200 million in my bank account, like, I'm going to go work hard.
I mean,
And
there's a
I remember,
douchey
obviously,
art to
generalizing.
like the CP3 flop. Like, I mean, it's
Oh,
part of the game and the era right now. But it's so like, yes, I understand it, and especially if you're playing against a LeBron who's gonna flop too. Like, I
right.
get why CP3 is gonna flop against him, but then also realize, look, you're playing a more that's why one of the reasons why they lost. The Bucks were just such a more physical team.
Yeah, I
That
agree.
you know what? Even if you're gonna flop, like, sorry, and anytime a foul is called, oh my god, what? I can't believe, like, it, maybe it's just they weren't there before, and that's why they kind of reacted that way. But they weren't ready, and I think they're outmatched for a number of reasons.
Yeah, it does certainly now in retrospect feel that way. And also, like, I'm kind of grateful just because, the talk track has always been in the NBA. Like, you have to earn your stripes. Like, that's just how it works. And, like, the Phoenix, they were all too young. Like, none of them had even been to the playoffs. So if you go by that, mantra, it's kind of like the Bucks had earned their stripes. Like, the loss to, Toronto. Like, you don't lose to a Toronto series and have that not affect you. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
like, they've been through playoff heartbreak last year with Miami. So it's just kind of like, in general, I feel like we've had our ups and
You fail, it
downs.
makes you stronger, and you come
Right.
back stronger.
Yeah, so that was one thing I was kind of hoping was going to play out true because it was just like, they had not gone through it, and we had. So now they have, like, um,
Bucks and 6.
yeah, it's just too crazy. The fact that we're world champs really hasn't hit, and now I gotta, like, I mean, I'm gonna buy all the swag. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
getting Giannis jerseys with the final stuff on it. Like, I'm gonna get everything because, yeah,
Yeah, I think I want to do one more like this, the Ludio jersey, in
yeah.
probably the city, like the one that they wore and won the title in.
The cream, was
No,
it the cream city one or the blue?
the black.
Oh, the black. Yeah, those are
Yeah.
tight too. Do you think that stuff will sell out like forever? I was kind of wondering. Like, I went on Fanatics and there wasn't a ton of stuff, but like, if you were to go and acquire all that, like, where would be your destination? Like, what would be your source of like finding those jerseys
For
and
doing custom or
whatnot?
just going to get like
Just going to
championship
get it.
stuff.
Yeah, just championship stuff.
I'm going to the source because I mean, it's something we always talk about in the collecting part of the show,
Yeah,
that like guys that just kind of go and hoard it and then they go and razz it or put it on eBay or do shit like that. Like, that's just unbelievably frustrating. I'm like, look, I get the capitalism argument and blah blah blah, but
yeah,
that's also ruining collecting.
yeah,
Like, part of the joy was, hey, you know what? I bought a pack of cards for $4, and yeah, you might land some crazy Jordan growing up, or you might land, a KG rookie, a Shaq rookie, or whatever. And now it's just like everybody's just like box and scrap anything that's not a rookie card or an auto. And I'm like, and then all they do is they go and buy the boxes for the potential of, oh, you might get X card in this thing.
yeah.
And so, like, and I
Well,
know they're already doing it with all the championship gear. Like, they went and, I mean, probably like Dick's Sporting Goods and any that he had it here. They're like, yeah, we're gonna go grab it, buy it all, because the store's gonna be like, yeah, unless the store is smart enough to say like limit X per person.
yeah.
They just want to make
I
the
was thinking
money.
that too. I was thinking that too because I was like, should I be going to Dick's? I'm like, I don't know. I got to assume like
I'm going to the
they would
pro
have
shop. I'm
stuff.
doing the pro shop.
So, and then the other thing I wondered, so like, I mean, for work in game 3, I got like a super cool like pullover that says like NBA Finals on it with like the trophy and everything that was like for workers. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, sweet.
But like I didn't actually grab anything else. Like I never got another hat. Like I never got other shirts that was like at the stadium during the games. And I guess because I just assumed like they'll be around. But I'm like, if I guess I missed that, I'd be quite sad. To your point, like, if everybody snapped them up, like, I hope that they're just going to be around,
Well, no,
like,
I
the
mean,
finals.
and that's another thing too. Like, I'm thankful in a lot of ways the game was on a Tuesday that I got the Wednesday Journal, because I only get
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
Wednesday and
right.
Saturday one. And the only thing
Yeah.
that sucks is they put the unit number on mine, so it's just like, all right, well, it's not mint.
Oh, sure.
So I kind of want to go get one just to have the plain clean front page yet. And I know you can
Mm-hmm.
order them separately from USA Today. Like, I
Right.
even looked at Sports Illustrated. I'm like, dude, where the hell is the order where like you can get the random cool shoe phone and like some custom leather bound like this is the Bucks 2021 and like then a tape of the season or the finals or all that kind of cool stuff. And all I saw was they have a custom commemorative issue. I'm like,
that's so
it's
funny
cool,
you say that.
But like, where the hell is all the rest of the good shit? Like, we
tolerated.
Like,
where's my DVD? Where's
yes,
my DVD?
yes.
He's like, where's my DVD and my hat? He's like, I want to buy my DVD and my hat for the Bucks finals. Like, congratulations, Bucks! You've won the NBA championship.
Yes, I want to hear that. I just want to hear that. I want something leather bound, like whatever.
Oh, it's so true. Yeah, I didn't get that. When was that commercial supposed to be on after we won? I never saw it.
I had to look it up on Twitter, and I'm like, oh, sure enough. But it's like, hey, Bucks fans, like, order this issue. And I'm like, better do more than that damn issue, Sports Illustrated. Like, I wasted.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, how much recycling did we get good at because they sent you 50 issues of stuff that you didn't read?
Yeah. So many. Well, and two, like,
let's keep this going as I jump in a little bit of RBI.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, it was a wild thing. The other thing I meant, I don't know how it felt at home, but like, or in the district even, but one thing that was super intriguing to me was at the game,
I might only be talking to you, and I don't know if everybody can hear me or not yet, but because we switched over to the gameplay, and I know there were audio issues previously, they loved what you were saying, but I think the audio cut out, so I'm going to try to fix that right away while I also jump into the game. Okay, wow, this is the first. They can hear me, but nothing else. The game is silent. You're probably going to hear the game pop up. I'll work on getting Brandon's audio back on, too. Yeah, it was, obviously, you can kind of see it says press start for Mr. Bradley Craw. He wasn't able to make it for us today. I think he's still operating, right? He's still on the phones. We're working hard behind the scenes, I mean. So we're giving him some credit, and once he gets his controller working, he'll probably jump in. But if not, he'll definitely be back next time. Yeah, it cut out. Dan says it cut out exactly right as Brandon was saying something. So, and I know Brandon can only hear me now, so I'm trying to like ignore who I'm picking, and actually, where's our audio? Brandon loves you all, and I apologize for. Where the hell did it go? All right, hold on. We'll come back to the jam session really quick. You're back. Dan, do you remember where he was?
Yeah.
Brandon, you want to say something? Dan, you want to ask him?
Well, I was just jabbering on about flow and Bucks and when you can't see all the shots, but like Giannis hit a couple shots that were, he had like a running jump hook kind of a thing that looked really hard and it went in and you're just like, I can't get a sense when you're at the game for how hard that shot was, but it was so clutch. Like that's all I know is it was incredibly clutch.
He was saying, what was super intriguing, and I wonder how it was in the district, ... I don't know if you remember what you were saying after that.
Oh, well, I just don't know if it's the same. Like, again, there's no flow when you're in the game because it's like every possession is life or death. I don't know if like in the district it's the same, or if it's like you can kind of watch it like a game on TV because you're watching literally a screen.
No, I think just if I may speak briefly for you, like having watched a game with you on TV, it's very much that life or death. Like I'm pretty sure there was a moment where I don't know what bucket it was, but I was like, yes, and I jumped and like you caught me and started running around like, and I was just like, but it was exactly that. Like everybody was like locked into the game, even though it was on the screen.
That's awesome. Yeah, we luckily for Game 6, we were in like the loge level, which allows you get like a little half table and 4 seats, and then you get like free beer for your food. It's really a nice little setup. And I like the nice part was I was running around, like literally running around, and there was a guy next to me in one of the other tables. And right at the beginning, I just like went over to him like, "Hey man, I'm just gonna apologize ahead of time. I'm gonna bump you a lot. Like I hope you're up for this." And he was like, "Hell yeah, dude." His name was Alex. He was a really nice dude. And we just like, you just become instant. It's your whole Bucks and Six thing. But like we were all just like having the time of our lives. And I didn't sit down the entire game except for halftime. I sat down at halftime because I was like, whatever. But other than that, I stayed standing the whole game because I was like, I'm going to do my part. I'm not giving up. I'm going to take the energy.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's whether it's a superstition or the energy or just being a part of it. Dan commented,
Definitely
he's like,
superstition.
Yeah, it's random, but it's baseball. But I remember the Marlins when they won the World Series. I think they beat the Indians like years ago.
Livan Hernandez.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
There was like I remember like I wanted the Marlins to win so bad, and I was sitting against my bed a certain way, and I'm like, as soon as I moved like that, they like started scoring runs and coming back, and I'm like, I'm really uncomfortable, but I don't want to move. Like, there's just something to the beauty of that superstition.
Well, and I tell you what, man. I mean, I was nervous and like real stressed, and I'm just thinking, golly, like y'all have got to be so impressive, or like one of the things I liked about this team is they never got high, they never got low.
Too high,
and it was
low.
like
too high, too low.
It was and it's just the perfect attitude for your team to have coming into a Game 6 to clinch. You know what I mean? Like they're just going to go out and do their business like they did every game. It's just wild. So now, I mean, I think the interesting narrative I've heard now is like, okay, next season, right? Like
run it back.
And so to me, because I was with one of the owners today, I was like talking to him. I'm like, yo, you all need to be like prepared to get into the luxury tax. Like you have made so much money. Like, I don't care what it costs. You bring Bobby back, you bring PJ back, like whatever.
Well, Bobby's here another year, I think. PJ's, I think, really the only one we're at risk to lose.
But doesn't Bobby have a player option, though, I think they were saying? I think he might have he can opt out if he wanted to.
Maybe.
It was at least the conversation I was having. And, like, I was saying I don't think he would do that. And the reason why was just because, he wasn't even in the league last year. And, like, their counter to that was like, you just saw him play.
Yeah, but
like he could go out and get paid. Like he could get paid. And it's like, maybe, but like, or he's just really good here, like perfect setup for him. I don't know.
Yeah, I think but to that whole point, like the Knicks cut him, and the Knicks are just a terribly run franchise.
That's right.
And I think we signed him within 2 to 3 weeks. So it's not like he was out the league.
Yeah,
we signed him pretty quickly after the Knicks cut him.
Well, and like, I mean, he's mentioned that he had other offers and different things, but like, I don't know. Like if like he said, I really appreciated his discussion about being at peace and, and like kind of finding his way. And it's like, bro, like you got the keys to the city, man. Like that's something to be said for that. Like if you leave, it ain't gonna be like this.
Like not everybody gets a T-shirt that sells out the way his did.
No. And one of my other favorite moments that I feel like, unfortunately, I was pretty hammed when I got home after the game because I was out till 5 a.m. But when I was watching it, one of my favorite moments that I don't feel like translated as much as I would have liked it to is when Bobby got in the way of Chris Paul going and bitching to Scott Foster.
He's like, I'm right here. Where you at? Like, all right, cool. Don't touch me. That and the high step.
Yeah. But the moment he did that, I'm not kidding you, the split second, it became clear that like he was giving Chris Paul the business.
Yep.
In unison, 20,000 fans in the stadium started screaming Bobby. I mean, like it was like a WWE match, and I'm just like, this is surreal. Like, he could do anything he wanted, and like, you know what I mean? And I just loved it. All he did was, I couldn't actually see because it was behind the backboard, but I thought maybe he was getting a little bit of just a scuffle, and I myself just screamed Bobby at the top of my lungs. It was just so amazing, and I was like, God, I hope that came through on TV because, like, again, the camaraderie in the crowd of like getting behind someone especially to the villain of Chris Paul, was so amazing. It was just
and that kind of goes to a point Dan made where he goes, as far and it may sound crazy as his words, but being outside for Game 6, he's not sure if he'd have rather been inside because like Game 6 was, I mean it's really cool to see for the city and the team, like, but it was a lot of that celebrity crowd too. Like Chris Tucker and Chappelle were not going to Bucks regular season games. Chance the Rapper wasn't showing up when we played the Hornets, like, and so it was just like there was more of that like in-season crowd, as Dan put it, in the district as opposed to in the arena, and so like that was very much the vibe, and like I think you mentioned it. Everybody was on every detail. I mean, the hands were up for every free throw. Like everybody was glued to a screen. Like you could not. There wasn't a lot of room for distraction because how much everybody cared.
Yeah, someone said it in a way that I kind of liked recently, where they're like, the people in the stadium were around for Lou Alcindor, and like for the first championship. The people outside are the ones who've never, and they're being whatever. But it was like that's who's really paying $20,000 for a ticket. Like the ticket fees were so crazy. Like you had to really want to be in it. I'm glad I went. I got to 2 games and that felt great. The payoff for the championship game paid off because they won. But there were some people making real bets. You know what I mean? Like throwing down some serious cash. And I'm glad we won. Like we did it. We did the thing. Like we came through. And not only, like, and I shouldn't even say it in that way. It's not like the bet, everybody who was in the Deer District as well. You know what I mean? Like it's not always comfortable to be in like a 70,000 person crowd. Like you're going through some like moments of uncomfort, not even if everyone's great to you, it's just is what it is. And so you just hope. Like nobody wanted to go to Game 7. It was just like this was the night. This Bucks was the moment.
Every time it's mentioned, I'm going to do the PJ.
Yeah. It's really like it's legendary stuff. Truly legendary.
All right, well, I think I might have found the audio issue, so we're going to try to jump back to the gameplay really quick. Get a quick game of RBI in while we're talking. That you're going to be missing Brandon's audio just for a moment while I re-add it here, hopefully. And as I do this, if Brandon would care to say anything really quick.
Hello.
Anybody hear him?
I can say other words to really drive home the fact that I'm here. I'm not a robot.
All right, we got you back. We're good. I had the wrong audio track on. So I'm going to let you... All right, so we've got either Jimmy Key, Brett Saberhagen, Dave Rigetti, and Tom Henke. I'm going to be having the hit against Fernando Valenzuela because that's kind of who they always pick. I have to go get Kleenex because my nose is running for whatever reason because of the AC. I apologize, guys. Brandon's definitely... You're in good hands with him. His audio's finally working. Apologies.
Yeah.
And I shall be right back and get into the game.
It's important to mention that I made a conscious decision tonight to switch locations so that I myself could play retro video games while we did the show. So for those that are maybe came in late, playing Rampage 64 on N64. And it's really, really been nice. I'm on level 29. Got over 1 million points in the game. And, it was just one of those types of games that's great to play while you're doing your retro game show. So you can just sit here and smash stuff the whole time. So I'm really enjoyed it. So thanks everybody for being here and being willing to hang. I got a new game in today. I don't know if we're in our section yet where we talk about what'd you buy, what'd you play. But I got a new N64 game in today. And I got one coming for SNES. So maybe I'll show it. I'll take the lead from Tommy, though, because he can tell me if it's that time or not. Yep. For those who might have tuned in late, we talked a little bit about how the developer for this game is out of Chicago, and I was super stoked to see Milwaukee was one of the cities, Green Bay as well. It's kind of cool. Kenosha. And in the city of Milwaukee background in this, there's a big bridge. So I was like, maybe he's actually trying to be somewhat geographically correct by having a big bridge in Milwaukee. No, it's not lit up. So,
That's the next
whatever.
edition of it.
Yeah, really. I do need to get Rampage 2 World Tour, because then I would be able to have NES Rampage and the 264 Rampages, which I think would be cool.
I'm gonna go.
All in due time.
I'm gonna go with Dave Rigetti as the all-star starter, since he's the only one that I think of these four I had a starting lineup of.
Did anyone else ever say pooping on spaghetti like Corey Maggette? Because that was a thing we said back in college.
Spaghetti ready what?
It was pretty something like pooping on spaghetti like Corey Maggette or something like that. It was some college shit the college kids say.
Can't say I did.
I tried the other day finding Corey Maggette on Instagram, and I could not. So I don't think he's on Instagram, but I was just genuinely curious, like, is he still an Adonis? Like, that dude is just a monster physically. And I was like, I wonder what he's like these days. Is he like Desmond Mason, who's gained a good 150 pounds? Or, you know, has he stayed in shape? Like,
Desmond Mason's an artist, though, too, isn't he?
I don't know.
Like, there was something where they turned in... hold on, I gotta turn the... Oh, good, they threw a spitball. I'm gonna try to turn down the game in just a second. It's a little tricky because I don't want to kill Brandon's audio. 1 second.
Don't kill my vibe. Like, I was at a thing recently where Desmond Mason was, and I didn't even recognize him until someone said, "That's Desmond Mason." And I would like, that man? Like, and I'm not saying no shade on the man, but he just doesn't look like the D-Mace winning dunk contest. That's all I'm going to say. Like, yeah, I had to remember, like, this was one of the most athletic dudes in the league. And, I mean, Brandon Jennings looked good today. Jennings looked like he could get out there and throw a little 50 spot on you if he needed to.
Double nickel.
He was so funny at that game. His hype was so real. That was pretty cool.
All right, I tried to... hopefully you're still audible, Brandon. I had to try to turn it down a little bit because I am getting the RBI music blaring in my ear.
Nice.
Okay, cool. We're back. Good. So I think we're okay and we're good to go. Canseco up against Valenzuela, who's just throwing junk.
Junk.
Come on, loser. Throw it over the plate. See?
Yeah, I love Saberhagen in this game because I love that side pitch. So cool.
Ooh, he struck out Canseco, and that retires the side.
How did because we have it in our episode title, how was the MLB All-Star game? I didn't watch any. I saw Ohtani. He seemed like he did pretty well in the home run thing, but I didn't see much else.
He is insane. I mean, just his...
Yeah, I need to watch him.
How good he is at like, doing both. And they even say, like, he... Like, the Angels actually wanted to, like, kind of... only offense or defense. But the fact that his routine prepares him better when he can do both. He plays better, whether it's... Whichever, he does better both when he can do both. And if you make him do it separately... Oh, come on! What was that?
Like, do you know if he's, like, an athletic marvel? Like, I haven't really ever heard his story. Like, is he 6'4", 240, could run a 4'5"? Like, is he, like, physically a specimen? Or, like, what's the story, do you know?
I think he's just good. That's what I know. I don't know his attributes. All I know is Dave Rigetti's absolutely getting rocked so far.
So you're saying he's not Dave Rigetti.
Oh my god, dude! We just added an error to the... We're setting up the comeback so we can get some Doritos Locos tacos. Or don't cut it off. That's cool too.
Tommy, have you been continuing your closet purging? Have you found any new exciting items? I'm always excited to hear what things are popping out of your closet.
No, I'm getting absolutely shelled. We're gonna have to bring somebody else in. I think I told you I had found the 2 CIBs for 64. One was WrestleMania 2000. The other was NHL 94. Jesus, really? It's only 7-0 and at the bottom of the first. I don't have an out yet. I was gonna say, I was just about to say we're gonna let him build some character, but I think character has left the building at this point. We're going with Saberhagen, your boy.
Yeah, dude, Saber's my man.
Turns 2 right out the first pitch. All right, they still scored a run, but it's not credited to him. The whiff. And he K's the third out. All right, we're back on the right track.
Told you, Brett's your man.
Oh, they're throwing at Ripken. Fernando's playing dirty ball.
Oh, Fernando Venezuela's doing. Is he live still?
I had his starting lineup too. Did you ever collect them or have any growing up?
Mm-mm.
I'm swinging at trash too, so that's part of the reason I'm losing.
Good to know what your strengths and weaknesses are.
No, I had my first two. Oh, that's not even close to going out. My first two starting lineups I remember were Fernando Venezuela and Gary Carter, the Mets catcher.
Wow.
Took him out of the box, kept the baseball cards. Get there, please get there, please get there. Please, did I? Hey.
Baseball cards? I'm never getting the cards I submitted to PSA back. I'm pretty confident.
What'd you?
I just don't think they're...
Well, I know they improved the turnaround fairly recently, but...
Well, I sent like 10 cards in December, and the last estimate I got back was September. I'm like, well, okay.
Of what year?
Of last year. I sent my cards in last year, December of 2020, and I just called the place I sent it through, this place called Priceless Collectibles in Greenfield, and they were just like, yeah, it's looking like September now. I'm like, Jesus, like, I mean, I don't really care if I get them back because I had to convince the guy to send them in anyway. Because he was like, these are not, great quality. I'm like, I know, I just want them graded because I want them for display purposes. And he was just like, you would do better to just throw $100 and burn it. And I was like, I don't care. I just want them graded. Like, I don't believe that everybody is going to be able to pay for nor want PSA 810s. Like, so even if I do want to get rid of them someday, I actually believe that having them graded will be of value. He did not believe me.
We just brought Molitor in. Go! Go! Oh, come on. They're right fielder. They have us scouted very well.
They did their homework.
Outside of the 8-burger that we allowed in the first inning, we've calmed down.
Has Saberhagen been the key?
Pretty much, yeah. This is all on Rigetti.
Yeah, Saberhagen's a sure thing.
I'm totally giving away that starting lineup. I don't even think I have it yet. No, there were other things that I know that were in there, but I knew were in there, so it's not like they just kind of was like, oh my god, I found it. There was an Infinity Gauntlet, which was pretty cool. Dude, really? Okay. Another error by my center fielder, but we got the out at second.
Oh boy. I don't know what type of crowd we got on tonight because I don't have the Twitch stream up, but I'd be curious what everybody else is playing out there if they're playing anything.
We lost our viewers, apparently. We're down to 3 now since I've went to actually playing a game.
Damn it.
Alright, we're not throwing anybody out if they're stealing. That was not a pretty throw. But we got another strikeout to end the inning. Saberhagen stealing. Dan is still here. Yes, we're rolling 3 deep. Absolutely.
Yeah, what up, Blueson?
Dan,
because you're here, we have like 2 spots left for my August 12th collaboration with Parkade. We're doing a Mario Kart tournament out here at the farm in Brookfield. I don't know if you're available, but it's going to be from 6 until later in the evening out here in Brookfield on the Brady farm. 16-person Mario Kart tournament. And we got, I think, 14. Tommy, you had a buddy, right?
Yeah, I got a buddy coming in. Still a few that were undecided, which is kind of annoying. But, I mean, a lot of them were there, like... it happens, and
yeah. People are gonna bail too. That said they're gonna come. Like it's always inevitable. But yeah Tommy, Dan, if you want to be a part of it, let me know, because you would be more than welcome, my friend, to be a part of the Mario Kart tournament.
He said
Carcade.
Theoretically he is. There is something on the calendar though, and wants you to email him. So yeah.
Okay.
And Dan.
Right.
Yeah.
It's official.
He has to confirm with the wifey, but she's sleeping right now. So
I'll shoot you an email. I've got the Eventbrite ready. We got the design. Tommy's already cooking up some wild ass tournament rule. It's amazing. That ain't just gonna be your standard thing. We got Tommy on the case here. It's gonna be amazing. I'm hoping. Tell them about how you want to do it. Amazing.
So I mean, I think, like, I mean, we were talking about doing it like Swiss style, like you set up like the initial group play. Saberhagen finally got rocked.
Oh no, not bad.
But I think we're out of the inning. But yeah, like Dan, I was thinking even like Joel too, because I know him and I have been like waiting to try to catch up, and just because it's like, hey, like as many good people that want to kind of hang out to play, that's gonna be like, I mean, it's gonna be good food, good people, having a little bit of fun.
Mhm. Yeah, the only apprehension I get is like, oh, I'm not very good at that. Like, and I'm like, yo, this is not about like skill level.
We're playing for. I mean, the trophy is cool, and yes, we're gonna play, but it's not gonna be like, oh my god, let me stretch before like.
Yeah. And I'm also really optimistic because I'm having it designed right now that my Camp Chalker picnic table will be done by that time,
nice.
Which would be out in that little lake area, and I would highly be incentivizing and asking for flip cup games amidst the fellas. So I'm optimistic that'll be done too. She's gonna be big. It's like an 8-foot by 4-foot table with the Camp Chalker logo on it. It's gonna be cool.
Bill Schrader with an amazing bunt.
Where is everybody?
By accident. Kevin Seitzer can come in to pinch hit. Come on. That's an out. Damn it. We got to run. We're on the board. It might be over if there's a... Oh, we got a sub. Jimmy Key's coming in.
Meanwhile, I'm on day 37 of this game. I'm in Liverpool.
Isn't it just a year? Don't you go through a year, I think?
I hope not. You're telling me I have to go 365 levels?
I think so.
Oh, God. I mean, I've enjoyed, but 35 straight levels of this, like, wow, I can't imagine beating this game.
Dude, after we were playing that other night, I really want to get back at Streets of Rage again. You have no idea.
Oh, I know. Where did we get to, level 5?
The weird bald guy in the elevator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were crushing it. I was out real quick. I was also real drunk, so maybe it would have been better. Yeah, you weren't always there.
We were celebrating, what was it, Game 4? We were celebrating Game 4, so...
You were probably not you were probably a little loose too, so I can't, you were just playing well regardless if you're alcoholic. I was just like, trash.
The thing was, it was, like, and now you kept using your special, and that's what half killed you the entire time.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize till too late.
It's like, stop killing...
Use the right people,
oh my god, I suck at this game.
But like the little skater kid, that wasn't really going to do me much good.
Dude, I was way better in the parking lot. What the hell's going on here? Damn it, David. Oh yeah, they just mercy ruled me. All right, thank you. Oh, we've been going a while. It's good. We got to see the Brewers play. I got destroyed. I apologize.
Oh, it's perfect.
We're back to the jam session. It's a little less crazy audio too. But I'd be curious from Dan's lens how planning for MGC is going. Yeah.
Do you care to opine? I think there should be a little section where the guys from 414 Play can comment on something.
I think we should
just bring mics and wander around. But
I'm happy to And as long as we get the big guy to sign off on it, have a 414 play episode from the Carcade.
Hell yeah. That'd be amazing.
He's
big guy. Sign off on it.
He said in short, it's been weird, but it's suddenly moving super fast.
I believe that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was just because he wrapped the one in Brookfield too. So I mean, it was probably. I mean, I know like there's that level of staggering, and honestly, like even like not to keep bringing it back to the Bucks, but like it's been an emotionally draining and exhausting week too, in the best way possible, but where you're like, I need a recovery day. Like, oh my god, like.
Yeah. I need to just sit and play a button mashing game on 64.
Dan says it should work. The only issue is to figure out what we're streaming and when. So I think we have we can do two things. We can either do it like after party type, like have it be a 414 play after party and really kind of have some fun there. And then or we can do it middle of the show, which would be a little bit more hectic, but still fun.
Yeah, I'd say whatever Dan wants.
What do you think, D?
I would just think if you are running, I'm assuming TV MGC content during Midwest Gaming Classic, and I don't mean to wrongly assume that, but I'd think you probably would be. You just tell us when you want to fill content, really, on your content calendar. We'll just do that.
He said, briefly, without typing forever, it's hard to figure out where we're at for G this year because of the compressed schedule due to COVID.
COVID. Oh, yeah. Old COVID.
So, I think we'll definitely have some live stream from the MGC. Just a matter of figuring out some of the logistics. And that should be really fun.
Yeah, I'm stoked for that. I mean, if I just went through the past week and didn't get COVID, I don't think I'm getting her.
Well, and the other thing, too, is, like they even said with vaccine news, even with the variant, that if you had a double dose of the Pfizer, it's 88% effective against the variant.
Oh, nice.
And then one of the others is like 58 or 56 or something like that effective.
Yeah.
But so, it's kind of good that, there's some defenses built up. And I know, obviously not everybody's into vaccines, which is a different stream on a different channel. But, I mean, we can go there. It's welcome to 414 Play Crossfire.
Just here for the RBI Baseball and Rampage 64.
Right.
We're simpler times.
Oh.
Rampage 64 don't know nothing about COVID.
Yeah, they did. Dude, they fumigate. They drop the fume bombs on the monsters.
That's true. Oh,
Bucks and 6. Cheers, guys. This is awesome.
Bucks and 6. Okay, that.
But getting back into the collecting too. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
I just received something. I haven't even opened it from eBay yet, but I'm pretty sure I know which one it is.
Ooh, what'd you get?
I'm gonna say it's a GameCube game. Complete. Kind of found a good deal. Indeed it is, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour.
Nice, dude.
So that'll be
That's a good snag.
That'll be a fun one to get into.
Yeah, I wish I would have done when I started. I wish I would have cataloged every place that I ordered a game from, so I could know where all the country they came from.
I've had a few others arrive since our last stream too.
Have you?
Yeah. Kind of pretty diverse too. No more GameCube, but we'll jump over to Xbox for NBA Street Volume 2.
No, really? Oh, that's on my list. I need to get that bad.
Got that. Also on Xbox, I found the double disc of NCAA Football 2005, Larry Fitzgerald on the cover.
Solid.
And Top Spin also on the disc.
Dude, nice picks. I like those. I've been literally thinking about getting a PS3 for the longest time just so that I could get NCAA 2K8 with Greg Oden on it. But now with the new NIL rule, I'm like, okay, so when are we getting our next like?
We're not gonna. They don't want to pay them.
Oh, come now! You don't think so? Still?
The NCAA? No, man. Do you know how much money they have?
I know. Not the NCAA. Can't 2K just pay the athletes like straight up? Like.
Well, yeah, they can, yeah, but then you also have to get permission to use the team's names and logos and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of the Tecmo Bowl IP issue where if you remember the first Tecmo Bowl on Nintendo, real players but totally bullshit helmets and team names.
Yeah.
It was like the Miami Dragons and like really weird stuff.
They've got to get this done. Like, because that was the main issue is player likeness, as I thought. I would have to believe that the NCAA would allow for the use of teams and stadiums and all the rest. You know what I mean? Like, and it's so overdue. Now, I will say this. I don't know if, like, you know, the main number one best part of those games was association mode and building your team and, like, all of that. I don't even know if people do that anymore. I think, like, people I know have kept alive the NCAA football games, you know, like updating the rosters for 20 years and stuff. But,
yeah.
Like, I would just be, I would play it. Like, I would get into a simulation next-gen college basketball game. Like, when COVID hit, I played 2K7 with JJ Redick on the cover, like, till 3, 4 a.m. in the morning for, like, months.
Wow.
And it was still fun. Like, I really enjoyed it on PS2. And, like, just building a team and, like, getting high, like, 5-star recruits to come to your little shitty school and, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. It was so good.
Yeah, but it's going to be the money issue and the licensing issue. And Dan, I believe he's kind of on my side on this. He's saying it's going to be a lot more difficult, actually. I mean, and all you got to do is, Nick Saban the other day, when he was like, oh, yeah, our new quarterback just signed for, like, ungodly amounts of licensing or, like, endorsement deals, hasn't even taken a snap yet. I'm like, well, you wanted the dude. Like, he's not going to be starting at Alabama, which is, like, God's gift to college football in the SEC, depending who you ask. And it's just like, why are you mad if the kid's cashing in? Like, for the exact same reason you wanted him to be here. Like, the school's going to cash in on him, but they're not going to want to. I think the only way, and it's probably a very big jump to get there, is we're going to have a college athlete player union.
I know there was some work being done on that. But, like, they got the games done at one time. And, like, 2K is still around. So, like, someone there, I would assume, was a part of the team that put together those collegiate games, right? Like, they understood it at that time.
Well, the coding is doable, but that was also before the Ed O'Bannon lawsuit.
I know, that's what I'm saying, though. But, like, because that's what I'm hoping has been somewhat resolved. So, like, my hope, just as a fan, not as, like, a realistic,
yeah,
but just my hope as a fan is, all right, they did this in 2008, and then, you know, because of the player likeness thing, they didn't do it anymore. Well, now you can pay players, so go do the thing again and pay the players. You know, it's just, like, call it a day. Like, just put those two pieces together and go give us back our collegiate basketball dynasties. Like, allow me to go sit on my PS5 or whatever I'll buy and allow me to go and, like, do really deep franchise modes and get 5-star recruits out of high school and just play my little game in my basement.
Well, I mean,
like,
and the modes are there, and you can do them, but you're not going to be able to do them with really things. And it's kind of to Dan's point, too. Absent a union, you're going to have to do a deal with every single student.
I know. That agreed.
But it's the sad thing about it. Like, it would be great if the NCAA got off their high horse and was like, yeah, great. People want these games. People love these games. It adds to the culture of college football. Yeah, our checkbooks are going to be a little lighter because of it, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
Like, the students would love it. I mean, I got buddies who played college football that, like, buy the games they were in just to have the, like, number. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely, dude.
And they never even played. They weren't even on the field. But they, like, you know, have, like, the experience. And, like, quite frankly, you could publish the game and not have any of the college players in it. Now that's silly, of course.
But I mean, but so like College Slam did that, and it was the NBA Jam version of, it was like NCAA's NBA Jam.
Yeah.
And it didn't have names in it, but I think it had numbers, and it had player, like, I don't know, like attributes, like physically. It didn't have faces, it didn't have anything, but it said like, like 6'4", 230 for Ray Allen or whatever his weight was, right? And so like, but they had like the shooting guard for UConn was lights out. The point guard for Georgia. No, it was Ray Allen in that.
Oh.
So like the point guard for Georgetown, untouchable. It was Iverson. I mean, so like all that you knew who was who based on the attributes and the number and the positioning, but that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I mean, and that might be the best workaround, honestly, if they take the College Slam approach. Then we might get some. And if people, like, to your point, like somebody wants to buy it and they're like, that's me. Or they want to put the time in and say, I'm going to add, like this name and this skill set or whatever to set athletes, then great. Then I can do it.
Yeah, well, and like, to be honest, I mean, the game has changed so much. Like, back then, they had a chance that, like, these dudes may actually stay. Like, I guess you just don't have, in my opinion, the superstar collegiate player in the NCAA to even get an affinity towards, because they're all going to go pro right away. Or these days, they'll just go to the G League. So it's just sort of interesting in general, like, there's this.
Yeah, you know what?
I don't know.
It actually might not. I'm just spitballing, and I haven't. This is total top of the head, and I'm not thought out. But it actually might help rebuild college athletics. To your point of avoiding the one and dones, because if you think about guys like, somebody was making the argument how Silicon Valley becomes a lot more attractive, and while everybody wants to go to the SEC for football because it's the strongest conference, most of the money's out west if you're thinking about tech and everything. And if tech companies can say, hey, we got this player to do an endorsement for us or whatever, and maybe that player doesn't have what it takes to get to the next level, they might just be making more money. The schools programs out west and that have that endorsement money that can kind of come from the nearby companies that headquartered there, they're going to like build up the students to stay there longer. And those students might know that, hey, my payday's in college, oddly enough, not when I leave for the pros.
You know what? Maybe if there's money to be made. I mean, at certain programs anyway. The endorsement thing's funny too, because it's like, who's getting paid to do what? Car dealerships, all this bullshit. Like, I think that works. I'm thinking of like UW Milwaukee.
It's like Midwest universities are going to be really, really tough.
I mean, but UWM's kind of an interesting one because that kid just signed that top 5 recruit in the country to play for his pops. Like, you could convince me his ass is about to get paid by somebody in Milwaukee. Like, I mean, I know UWM tickets sold out because we were looking at getting a nice little ticket package.
Oh, wow.
It was, like, gone.
Nice, dude. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, the kid, like, that's what the kid does. Like, I didn't realize he's, like, literally the highest recruit ever in the Horizon League. Like, top 5 player in the country. And so, yeah, that'd be pretty exciting. So maybe he would get paid. I don't know. But that's a really good point that you make. I think, you play your cards right.
It could be a creative way to rebuild college athletics to avoid the one and dones.
Well, and like Mateen Cleaves is the one that comes to mind. Like, I've been wanting to get his jersey. I actually remember playing him in video games, and he was really fun.
He would be the college, your go-to college jersey?
Well, my go-to college jersey would actually be Ishmael Muhammad from Georgia Tech, number 2.
There's a reference. Nice pull.
Yeah, that was my guy. I really liked him a lot. I had his name written on my long jump cleats in high school because that's how I was at that time in my life.
Nice.
But like Mateen Cleaves would have made really substantial money, I believe, like in college had the NIL been around. He didn't spend too much time in the league, but he was a big time Michigan State guy. Like prominent dude. So yeah, I think you have a very valid point. And maybe there would be some level of monetization that would make it worth it, I guess, versus going overseas or like, going to Turkey or whatever. Yeah, I'll be curious to see. But like the Mikey Williams thing, like that's I don't know, that's the shit that's like gonna get weird. Like he's not even in college yet, and dude's already taking like stupid money,
Yeah.
So that I think is gonna get real interesting.
If I may, in a terrible not segue, finish out the collection because I do still want to tell you about the one really really cool thing.
Yeah, man.
So the last 3 things that I scooped, I don't think we covered these last time. Iron Man for the Wii.
Really?
Just being an Iron Man fan, I was like, found it pretty cheap, so I was like, why not?
That sounds intriguing, yeah.
This one I know you did know. Wipeout 64. Because I'm still looking for F-Zero X to complete the odd trifecta, because I got Extreme G as well. Just for like solid racing games that aren't called cruising.
Yeah.
Excuse me, on the 64. And then another one, friend of the show, one that we've discussed previously, complete in box. Jerry Glanville's Pigskin Foot Brawl.
That's so good.
I mean
Those are good snags, man.
Yeah, I mean this one, like it was pretty solid. Dan's talking shit about Cruise, and he's like, wait, that's a solid racing game? You can drive a school bus, sir. You could, in a racing game. Where else could you do that prior to that? Cruise in USA and Grand Theft Auto.
I am hot on the want for Cruise in USA, only because I'd get Exotica too, but I lost out on that the other day. I played Hydro Thunder recently and loved it.
For 64, did you get it for PS? Because
I got it for 64. I think it has Dreamcast too, but I got it for 64.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, because I saw either PS or Dreamcast. I saw it, and I was like, that's the one that you got. And I'm like, but I thought you got it for 64.
I did get 64. Apparently the Dreamcast one is better all over, but it was really fun. Like, I was, like, just having some fun, and it reminded me of the arcade. And so it kind of got me on the line of, like, I need to get cruising. Like, I've been on the hunt for Area 51 a little bit, and I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. But, like, I'm going to get a lot of these, like, little arcade games that, like, were ported over.
That would be a pretty damn cool one to have in, like, a basement arcade, too.
Oh, yeah,
like,
sure.
A cruising machine. Like, I'm a fan of pole position. Like, just that old-ass box with the high-low shifter. That was, it's so basic, but it was such a, like, oh, my God, not your regular arcade game at the arcade. And it made you feel like you could drive before you could drive.
Right. I learned this the other day that like the PS1 has a light gun that you can use to play Area 51. And I didn't win that auction because the gun wasn't CIB, and I was kind of like whatever. And then I was just kind of like curious in general, like how much these light guns go for, and there's like a bunch of light guns for PS1. I don't know, that was news to me. This one looked like a revolver of sorts, like a Western revolver. The other ones I saw were not in that fashion.
I don't know if that was from PlayStation, but I know Lethal Enforcers had the 6-gun type revolver.
So I thought those were too, like, so when I just looked up like CIB light guns for PS, I didn't ever find that model that was shown in the auction that I was bidding on. So that's another reason I actually shied away from it.
It might have just been some bullshit, dude. Some dude like messing around.
Well, I mean, it had the the connection and everything, but I don't know. It was weird. I just was like, if I'm going to do it, so it turned me on to the interest. Like, I've been looking, not hard, but I do have a search set up for it to get the PS1 multi-tap, because I just think that'd be cool. And, like, I haven't really gotten a super interest in accessories yet, but, like, I've got the Super Scope, and, like, I've got the multi-tap for Super Nintendo and the Super Bomberman box, which is cool. But there's, I've got those N64 controllers. But that would be like...
We might have to bust that out, dude. Super Bomberman with the multi-tap? Such a great game.
Well, at the first tourney I held here, we busted it out for NBA Jam on Super Nintendo and did 4-player NBA Jam with the multi-tap. That was pretty cool.
That's actually one of the Bomberman on Genesis is one of my, like, like wish list items.
So have you played 4-player Bomberman? Like, I never.
Oh, 100%, dude! It was like a staple rental
Really? Okay.
on like New Year's Eve growing up.
Oh,
Like
cool. You'll have to
a
show me
couple
sometime.
like friends would come over for the New Year's Eve sleepover, and it would just be like nothing but like a stack of blockbuster games and movies, and just whatever we could plow through. So it'd be like Die Hard and then Bomberman, and then like just bounce back and forth, and as much sugar and soda and chips as we could eat pretty much all night.
We'll have to toss that in sometime because I have been curious, like if it's a good game or not. I never.
Oh, 100%, dude. Yeah. Bomberman is Ludio approved.
But yeah, so then I kind of want to get the multi-tap for PS1. I guess I would. I mean, I'd get a light gun if it had a cool box and it was like display-ishy, but I actually don't have much more room. I got those 2 new displays where all my N64 controller boxes are now.
Like even like I saw the picture, seeing them in person, they look awesome, dude. Well done.
Yeah, but like I don't know, like I actually don't have a lot. Like I don't know. I'd have to start getting real creative with like where I would put a PS1 light gun. You know what I mean? Like there's a very fine line between clutter and like display, and I'm really starting to get on the clutter train if I don't stay
organized. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan says he goes cruising sucks in a basement for Rio, and but he does have an Area 51 down there.
Like I would be curious what the downside on the arcade, just like size per fun. I think it's gotta be a fun ratio to have for arcades in your basement. Like, what's the ratio of fun per inches it takes up, like per square foot? You know, because it's like it's fun, but it's not like takes up 20%
gameplay. You could do it by like quarters per square inch.
Yeah,
quarters per hour per square inch or something. Yeah.
There's a funny like ratio to come up with for arcades in your basement. Like, yeah, I do like it. It's okay. It takes up too much space. That's essentially what you get to at the end of the rainbow. Yeah, I want Cruisin' Exotica.
Exotica and World were the 2 I didn't have.
I'd get them. Oh, I think I'll probably get all 3 at some time or another. But dude, I think wasn't I telling you? It didn't like the shit went for like $150 or something preposterous. It was like shut up.
Well, 64 is up and down crazy.
Like this one I just got in today. I was showing Tommy earlier. Pokemon Stadium. This was $120, and then I picked up, which I am stoked about. Hopefully it'll be. I need to check and see if it's actually in the damn mail. I'm kind of getting burned. It better be in the mail. Thankfully, eBay's got that guarantee stuff, but like that dude never sent me Double Dragon Battletoads. Just straight ghosted.
The Super Nintendo one, right?
Yeah, just straight ghosted. Never sent it. Put a pre-shipping, number in, and then just nothing. Never sent it. Just stopped. And so, I mean, thankfully they give you your money back, but I'm just like annoyed more than anything because I wanted it. And another game I just got was Indiana Jones Greatest Adventures for Super Nintendo, which I'm pretty stoked about. But it too hasn't like I'd have to double check if it's finally in the mail, but it just has like a pre-shipment number, and I'm like, send the fucking game. Like, don't make me sit here and wait for these games forever. I really don't like that.
Yeah, Dan's suggesting erasers when you're done with eBay. Sorry.
Erasers? Which one?
He suggested Hydro Thunder, which you mentioned.
Yeah.
Outrun. I do remember Outrun a little bit. Sega Rally. I like vaguely in the arcade. I remembered it, and then Daytona. I do. Daytona was good shit.
Yeah, Daytona was good shit. And then I picked up another one where I'm like, I don't actually know if I should have paid any money for it because it was only like $10 or $15 total, but it was for Genesis. It was like NBA All-Star Challenge.
I got that on Game Boy. Like
that's like right up my alley.
Dude,
I don't know why no one else wants this.
I got it because I a while back we were talking. Remember I told you I scooped up the Super Game Boy?
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of randomly built the Game Boy cart collection again.
That's sweet.
And it was like just like in that like impulse moment, I bought like 8 Game Boy carts, and one of them was like NBA All-Star Challenge for $2. I was like, all right, yeah, let's roll with it. And it's
got some cool dudes on the cover.
It doesn't like a lot of players to choose from, but like it's I don't know. Did you ever play Jordan vs. Bird?
Yeah, I've got that for Genesis.
Like it sucked getting Jordan because he couldn't hit threes. Larry Bird, you could just be like boop 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 boop, 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 3, 3, 3. Game over. Like, it was the now NBA where threes are more than twos, analytics bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But in the oldest, like, classic one-on-one game.
Well, and so, like, what seems interesting to me about this NBA All-Stars Challenge for Genesis that I got is it's got the dunk contest, three-point shooter, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, even if it's lame, you'd think you could just have a little fun, shooting a three-point contest with Mullen and, Clyde Drexler or whatever.
Well, I mean, it's just fun plugging it in just to try it. Like,
well, in the box. Like, the box is what got me.
Yeah.
I'm like, on the cover of the box, it's
all the guys,
all
right?
These dudes.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's cool. Like, that will look nice here. Now I'm wondering, as I'm looking at this Pokemon Stadium, like, it came with these two things in it. So, like, the
transfer pack,
and then the game, but they're, like, bubble wrapped to hell and, like, taped. And, like, I mean, I don't want to just, like, put them back in the box that way, but that's how they came with the manual. And
did he not have, like, the frame for the card or anything?
No, that's what I'm wondering. I mean, I don't know anything about the box, so I don't know if I'm, like, am I missing? Was there a thing at one time, and they just don't have that thing, and instead they bubble wrapped everything and threw it in there? I don't know. I don't know.
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess that. Yeah, because I know, like, even Star Fox, it's not like they just bubble wrap shit. It was, you had that, like, white crushable cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
Dan also says yes, there was a thing. So.
Damn it! Maybe that's why it was only $120. Because typically they go for like $1.80, $1.90, but I guess if you don't have the little box in there, it sucks. It got the manual, so that's cool. I mean, it's just gonna sit on my shelf, but I wouldn't mind.
And maybe, you never know. Maybe you find, like, randomly someone's got just the inside cardboard.
Where my ass is spending a bunch of money is at MGC. Like, basically, whenever I don't have anything, I'm just like, well,
that's one of the best things, like, I'm looking forward to is just saying, hey, somebody else, like, all right, I've got an hour to wander from the carcade setup and where we're at, so I can kind of just enjoy hanging out with the vendors and trying to fill the collection with a lot of the shit we talk about on here all the time.
What's probably most embarrassing is since the first year I went, my inaugural year, like, all the, like, oh, you can get in early stuff, I was like, that's silly. And now I'm like, fuck. Like, now I'm going to have like, all the passes so I can go in there and find my Pokemon Stadium white thing. I'm so dumb. Just gone down a deep, dark path since my first MGC. I brought, like, 7 dudes to MGC the first year. Like,
it's such a great
no one else even liked it. They didn't even like video games, but I was just like, dudes, this looks so cool, you gotta go. So we went and, like, wandered around. It was a pretty good time.
Oh, it's a, like, the one thing, like, once I got set up the first night, you kind of get to wander around with the vendors, and that was, like, my first one. I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Because the first time I was there, like, I was in the vendor hall. When I was I was 2 of 2, and I was the second coolest car because the first was the DeLorean. And I still remember the conversation with Dan. He's like, yeah, I'll have to get back to you if we can allow a vehicle in here. And it's before we had really even talked or known each other. And I was just some random dude like, hey, can I set up at the MGC, please? And then he got back. I'm like, dude, if that's the other one, hell yes, man. Like, that's awesome.
Wasn't, like, the Jurassic Park truck there or something, too? There was a bunch of cool shit.
Yeah, like, and then last year they really upped the game. Like, there was a lot more vehicles and a lot more of that kind of fun and relatable stuff that way.
I'm sure that on a typing basis it wouldn't be good to type it all through, but I would like to know how the July event went, just like for its inaugural year, the play-in or the lock-in.
It's not the lock-in. The name changed, remember? It was
light
days, night, something. Game night, game days.
Yeah, something cool.
We're being horrible company men right now.
I know. I was about to say I'm the worst. What a terrible person I am for not knowing exactly what
there was this thing that we did at a hotel, and
yeah, even brought it back to my native Brookfield, which I was like, yeah.
Oh, but okay, so without any further delay or ado, something I found today that I was really before we even wander into that, so a little bit further ado, I guess. Dan says, honestly, it went as well as could have imagined. Plan to bring it back. It'll be invite only because it was an insane party.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Oh, yeah, man. That's awesome. Glad to hear that. Did you know that this transfer pack transfers into a Game Boy?
Yes, that's what I was telling you, dude, because it was built with the idea that you could, like, one of the things they were going to use it for was Perfect Dark. and that you could import your face from the Game Boy camera into Perfect Dark.
Oh, shit. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was the mechanism to get in.
And so, like, like Perfect Dark was released without it, I think, just to get it out.
Mm-hmm.
PJ Tucker was brought up again. Cheers. Bucks and 6.
PJ. We dogs.
He said the party was like PJ Tucker at the parade, but for 40 hours.
Good God.
Well done. Well done, Dan.
I was going to say, I don't know if I could handle that. I mean, I think I could, but I better not handle it. I'm making the executive decision of taking all this bubble wrap off. Dumb. You're a bubble wrap guy.
So yes, the thing that I found I was really excited to tell you, I'm totally going to be doing, there is a company now. They just came out. I saw it on Twitter. And what they do is you can get vintage game magazines delivered to your doorstep. So it's kind of like a mystery loot box.
I heard about that.
It's a $15 subscription. $20 if you want to do like a one-off. But it's the Video Game History Foundation, the VGHF, their vintage magazine subscription. One of the guys is saying he got like a Nintendo Power. One guy said he got like 100 games, like Nintendo tips and tricks, like, and I guess they all actually come in pretty good condition. It's not like the ones they found on the side of the road that like got ran over and used for God knows what. That they're all actually in pretty good condition. And considering what they normally go for, even at collector stores and things like that, I feel like $15 probably isn't bad. I don't know the Nintendo Power, the Game Pro, the Game Players, VGM. I don't know that market for old issues. I would still like to find the one that randomly I was in at one point. It was an old Game Players because of coming up with a name that took second place for the tips and tricks section of the magazine.
Yeah.
When I was like 8 years old or some crap like that. But it was just like, that would be fun to find. But like, I mean, especially given the collection of what they are, I mean, you never know. Like if you get the Mario, we had the Mario 3 Nintendo Power Guide, and that one like was great because it literally showed you every nook and cranny of every level, so you could figure out how to get every coin, how to get every ship, how to blah 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 blah.
Yeah, the one podcast I listen to pretty religiously, Collector's Quest. They're like big Video Game History Foundation guys. And I don't know, it's interesting. Like, the hobby, I want to continue. Like, I don't want to buy $1.5 million Mario to make my Super Mario copy go up, but like, I do want to support. So like, I'm a Patreon member for their podcast, and like, I think I would do that, but I do think the clutter part probably gets, like, we were talking about before, like, that starts to run in my mind because,
and it's magazines too, because it's like you either can display them and then like, oh, then they have a value, or they're literally just stacking up and cluttering a shelf or your floor or whatever.
Right, and at the moment I only have 2 spots for magazine display, one of which is that first North American Nintendo article, and then the other one's just like King Griffey Jr. one or something. So I don't have a great thing. I got the posters on the wall here that came out of Nintendo Power of all my sports people, but otherwise I don't know. I think it's cool. So I think if you've subscribed to it, I think it's great. I think supporting the Video Game History Foundation is like the great thing. Like, to me, that would be the move, because our hobby needs that. Like, it needs to have a Video Game History Foundation. It needs to have people taking on that effort. Like, I would really like to continue to see more of that, like, percolate into this space. It's so weird. Like, there just needs to be a universal destination to know the history of video games, like in an archival sense. Like, I need to be able to just go and like be able to find every single game, the details of those games, the current values. You know what I mean? Like, there should just be that resource in the world, and there's not. And it's like we got price charting and game value now is like, and those are just scraped off of eBay. And like,
I mean, and it's good. You can't beat the real-time effect of it, but I mean, it's the reason why Beckett is not what it used to be for baseball, basketball cards, everything. Yeah. Beckett was a Bible. Like, you had to have that subscription. you had to go buy it from the magazine rack or your card shop or whatever. And if you didn't, you're like, hey, can I look at what this goes for, please, before I trade or whatever? Like it was so like that hurt. Like it hurt your soul to have to do that at card shows or shops or anything like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. So like I don't know. I just want to believe that like at some point that level of professionalism will be present in an interactive way. You know what I mean? Like cool pictures of the covers and the manuals and like, man, it just seems like it should be there.
Yeah, but Nintendo's a very, very big. They're either very mindful of their IP or they are like violator like pursuers. Like I'm trying to think of a way to put it nicely. Because even when people did like, oh, this is a poster of the map of Zelda and I love it and because it's my favorite game, they're like, oh, that's our IP and that's our art. Yeah. Please don't do that.
Desist.
Yeah.
Cease and desist. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's true. And I mean, they're the big dogs, but who knows, man?
But they've also look what they've done. I mean, how many game companies can say they've got the longevity of franchises like Mario and then all the diverse Mario games, not just it's Mario running through and smashing Goombas and eating mushrooms, but the kart, the golf, the tennis. I mean, paper. How many Mario games can you just go?
It would be interesting to debate like if they were a product of like being at the right place at the right time and like catching society and sort of captivating it, and then to see like if the possibility of like the rise in indie like gaming developers like would give us a different sort of experience. If like in 50 years you'd be like, yeah, Nintendo had it, but like it actually wasn't that the games were super amazing. It was just that they were better than the previous generation. And now these generation have come out and more creativity has percolated. I'm just throwing that out there. Like,
yeah,
that would be intriguing to see if things would go that route. Like when we were chatting the other day, I think, and I don't know, my head has just not been able to get off of this. I think an open world, underwater RPG.
Yeah, what was the game? What was the game that you found?
Oh man, I don't know. I have to look at my phone. Like
Blue something, right?
Yeah. It was like one word. I have to look it back up.
I can look.
But like for real, like that would be fantastic if on my PS5 or my whatever Microsoft Xbox is now, I could just go log on almost World of Warcrafty and be like underwater, go above too, but like find treasure and like seek out maps and get hints and tips for like secret locations, and like the more you accumulated the better things you could get. And like I think just the peacefulness of like swimming around underwater would be incredibly like relaxing for people. You know what I mean?
But at a certain point you're approaching Echo the Dolphin.
I actually also think the motion and the way you would do it could be somewhat therapeutic as well.
Get a hat. There you go. That's the $1 million idea. Get a haptic suit for, like, that weird machine that people laying in the mall, and it's like you just see the water waves going over them like this. That's the new power pad. That's the new. That's the new Wii. That's the new Switch. You got to get the water pad.
And like, I honestly see it as being like enjoyable to do on a big TV with a controller. The other alternative would of course be like VR. But like, I don't know. There's just something about immersed underwater world looking for treasure. Seems like it would be really expansive, the potential of the level, and like, because the ocean is big and there's depths and there's different, and like it would also be incredible if you could do it along the lines in some regards of like real wrecks. You know what I mean?
Well, see, like that. You said something you just said triggered it. I don't know what is, if it was that or like withdrawal symptoms from Ancient Aliens and the Giorgio guy that's like aliens. But like And Atlantis, like, can you imagine like an
Yep.
open world
Yep.
underwater Atlantis, dude? That would be legit.
Hmm. Yeah, like what if Atlantis was, you know, one of the biggest levels to find? Um, and I just think that'd be so wild. I think you'd have to have it be, again, like MMORPG. Like you'd have to have it be. I don't know. I struggle today
It's Animal
with.
Crossing underwater.
Yeah, I just struggle with any idea today of like being non-connected to the world. Like that's even like unless you were here the other night, like I have a really hard time and like we're doing tonight. I can sit here and play like Rampage because we're like engaging, but my biggest struggle is just like I can't just like sit and play anymore
There's a
because I'm
social
just like,
aspect, like an inherent social aspect that I think so many people kind of took for granted to gaming, and it became this red flag because of the pandemic and everybody in isolation. And the tech is great. The tech allows you to connect, but it's the social media argument all in one too. Like it's great to be able to like, oh yeah, great, I can see what you had for dinner or like your social, uh, like stay in touch with people from high school and all that kind of stuff like that. But like it doesn't replace it. In a lot of ways, it gets in the way of actual relationship. Excuse me.
yeah, yeah, agreed.
Dan
Anyway, I'm just
commented. He goes, uh, "We can have a lot of info on say Magic cards because one company controls it, but games don't have that." But you know what? My counterpoint to that would be the sports card market, that collectible, because I know I've talked to people that like do their podcasts and have had to retailer their, or I guess you could just say tailor, that would be redundant. They've had to tailor their commentary afterwards because they did an episode just saying, "Oh my god, like can you believe like this card sold for this?" Or even if they didn't say what it sold for or whatever, but the fact it was being discussed, like interest in the card went like this. And so I
yeah,
mean, you're going across sports, you're going across genres, you're going across like grading or not grading, like so many different factors that way too. And yes, so like sports cards are controlled by a small number of companies, but I mean, like Giannis rookie cards are a great example. Yes, they're still all going to be pretty relatively expensive, but you can talk about one, and if you talk it up and say, "Oh, this is the one that's most in demand," and you really kind of almost generate that, that's I think the concern that Brandon was kind of addressing earlier.
well, and I would just say that like the interesting part about video games is like, um, they're static, at least in the retro video game capacity in a way. Like all I would like to see, like just as like an example, I'm looking at Captain America and the Avengers. So like what I would like to see is an online catalog that I could be looking through Super Nintendo. I could be looking at it by year. I could be looking at it by publisher. I could be looking at it by a number of factors. And that game would be one of the games I could click on. It would have, here is, the box art. Here may be variants. Here's the publisher. Here's the storyline of the game. I mean, a lot of this is on Wikipedia, right? But like,
Yeah, yeah.
here are the things. Here's the price charting for that. And there's something else that just like it got the population count, right? Like here's what we think
How
is
many were
estimated
produced or whatever?
available. Yeah, like how many were produced, and then like I know we don't have it, but like how many do we believe are in circulation today? And like just that. And what's interesting is it's like the only thing that should really be variable in that would be price charting and population count. And it's like the game's the game. Like it happened. It's already there. It's 25 years ago or whatever it would be, right? Like it's like there's no more Captain America and the Avengers coming out. So it's like that's what's so just weird to me is it's like even if you just aggregated Wikipedia into like a video game site, a retro video game site, and then if you wanted to
Well, so people
throw a
do.
community in there,
People do. And
sure.
and I think there's, I mean, we've discussed it a little bit too. Maybe on, I don't remember if it was on or off stream, but I think there's absolutely, without a doubt, room for it. It's it's finding it. It's finding that right tweak, I think.
Hmm.
And
Well,
it's
and I mean, and if you really got down to like the localized level, it would be providing communities in your local community to
yeah,
engage with people, to
absolutely.
have those conversations would be another part of this, value proposition for this site. Like, it would do that for you.
So like Dan brings up the point that game companies are insanely careful with production numbers. Like, how does that balance the argument of stuff like it's my easy go-to because it's a game that I love and I want to get. It's Def Jam Fight for New York. It sold well enough that it became a greatest hit on multiple consoles, and then even that said, that game and it's probably because of the licensing and the rappers and the songs and everything, and I get that, but that's just the love of it and like the actual aspect of it. It has nothing to do with the quantity or the number that were produced or anything in that regard. And so that's I'm kind of curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that part is lost. I'm going to replace Nagano Winter Olympics '98 with Pokemon Stadium, making that move. Sorry, Nagano Winter Olympics.
Nagano. Did you ever play Lillehammer?
Nagano?
I had Nagano, I think, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I always played. I remember Lillehammer. That's where I developed. I found my like. He's calling you out. Yeah, he's like, oh my God, you're doing that right before the Olympics start. What's going on, B?
Yeah, but it's Winter Olympics. Boo. Keep up the Winter Olympics. I would, however, I do wish I had in my possession, which I have been on the hunt for, but never comes up for auction, the 96 games for Super Nintendo. That's been on my list.
They actually start tomorrow? Like, wait. So, like, this gets back to one of our earlier points, too. Who the hell is on the U.S. Dream Team this year? I know there's, like, 6 guys because Kevin Love bailed. And
some guy named Kelvin Johnson, Jeremy Grant, JaVale McGee, bunch of randos.
And I know, like, we had 3 coming from the finals, obviously, with Holiday, Booker, and Middleton.
Right. Yeah, there's some guys, but
Durant,
I don't know, man.
Bradley Beal. No, not Bradley Beal. What? Maybe
yeah, well, he
was
was
Beal?
I think Beal.
Oh, Dan, you spelled it wrong. We covered this earlier. It's Evan Booker, because there is no D in his game.
I think Beal's out with COVID protocol. I don't know if he's even doing the thing.
Lillard. But I mean, that's. What do we name? 10? Do we name like 10 guys? They need 14.
Yeah. I don't know how much of the rotation they have too, right? Like, I don't know how many of those dudes need to be playing.
Like, I mean, it's just like this feels like a Dream Team 2 nightmare scenario. Those guys can play. Oh, Draymond Green's on there, but he's really the only dude that played. Like, Kevin Durant, really, really good. Dame Lillard, really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Who is your defensive stopper though when you need it?
JaVale McGee, apparently.
So I'm sorry, I don't think my mic was working. I was gonna say, who is the defensive stopper that?
Who do you think any players are left in the NBA from this game? Probably not. Sure, the last one probably retired.
Trying to think of the draft class. There's got to be one guy left. Well, no, Nash retired. Iverson retired.
I'm guessing not.
Who's the oldest guy in the NBA right now?
That's a great question. It's like LeBron.
He looks the oldest.
No, like for real. I think LeBron's like the 3rd oldest guy in the NBA.
Chris Paul,
Chris
maybe.
Paul's up there. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was the Bogut class. Yeah, he was Bogut class.
I bet you there's not a single player left in this game who's playing anymore. They're just super intriguing. Like, I've always felt it will be interesting to like have this and like play with those players that are no longer playing. You know, like even the most famous of them. Like in 10 years, you know, like as 10 years has gone by, like, oh my God, Antoine Walker, you know, like be interesting to see if there's any fun in playing as those guys.
Well, and I mean, and even to that point, that's, I mean, even like we touched on it a little bit, like the nuance of how I enjoy doing like tourney challenges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
With the Brew City Bowl coming up, like obviously it's Tecmo Super Bowl, like that's the game. It's very, very the heart and soul of it. But if there's references to it, like I loved Blitz because of that, because there's a lot of guys that are still in Blitz 10 years later that were in Tecmo Super Bowl, and they're on way different teams and everything, but you're like, oh crap, like, especially if you think about football, like the fact that like they survived 10 years to keep playing football. Like, I mean, that's a pretty long career for that high of a contact sport.
No doubt. Well, I will say I put in Madden 03, or I can't remember, one of the Maddens, either for PS2 or PlayStation, probably for PlayStation. And I was like, oh my God. It was like Cordell Stewart as the quarterback.
Yes, dude. Slash. Dude, I'm so mad I sold a Slash. Like, I remember selling my Slash jersey at a rummage sale.
Ooh, that's sad.
And I don't want to, like, pony up to buy it on eBay because that feels maybe more sad. But
like, Favre, it was like Favre for the Packers, like Slash, and then like I just looked at the roster and I'm like, oh my God, like I usually remember most things, but there was like a running back that I had totally forgot about, Sam Nash or Sam Gash or something.
Sam
like that.
Gash,
he was like an All-Pro.
Dolphins and Patriots, I think.
Yeah, and I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. Like, I'm texting my buddies like, dude, you remember this linebacker, like Kevin Green, and like, you know, I mean, it was just wild.
Packers coach, he just died.
I did see that, yeah.
Also, he was in Tecmo Super Bowl, one of the best linebackers in the game.
Who was the other guy? Greg
Lloyd.
Who was his counter? Greg Lloyd. Yeah. So anyway, seeing those names,
Hardy Nickerson was. Hardy Nickerson was. I don't know if they were
Buccaneers.
Yeah, no, but he was a Steeler too. So he was.
Yeah,
but I don't know if he was with Green. He might have missed him by a year. David Little was one of the better linebackers for them too.
Yeah. So anyway, like to your point though, like when I put that game in, I was just like, like the feeling that but like the feeling I think you get with these things was like the hit. Like I took that adrenaline hit when I started seeing these players. I'm like, oh my God, you know, like Curtis Martin, like just like all these people. I'm just like, whoosh, you know, the nostalgia just hit, and I was like, that was cool.
He's got one of the most gorgeous autographs too, if you've ever seen it.
Really? I haven't seen it.
I mean, it looks very, very unitary, I guess you could say. Very consistent. But it's super legible, and it's very nice and neat on everything, whether it's a card, a helmet, whatever. Like football.
Nice.
Super cool to see.
All right. I think I got to wrap this bad boy up.
Yeah, we're touching, we're just short of 2 hours. So, I mean, anything upcoming that you want to kind of mention? I know we're all kind of recovering from a championship team here in Milwaukee. Bucks and 6.
That's it.
But
I think I'll finally be. I got a little day drunk today, but I'll be. I think I'll be good to go after tomorrow in terms of recovery, which will be nice.
Yeah, pretty. There are a few private things going on. I'm kind of excited. The Mario Kart League at WizardWorks is starting up. So that'll be August 4th. It'll be a nice little teaser, like especially to like prep as we're getting to our tourney, so I can kind of brush up on it and like really relearn tracks and do stuff like that. And I was reading about it too. We can touch on it in a future stream, but there's ways that you could protect yourself against skidding on banana peels, where like music notes would pop above the driver's head, and then like how you could drift, where you would get different colors of smoke based on how effective you were drifting, and then you would get a power burst coming out of it. I'm like, that's next level that I never even knew was even in the game.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, that league starts pretty soon. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the tourney. Dan, if you can make it, dude, it would be awesome to have you. And like I said, I mean, I'm just looking forward to some good food, hanging out, and playing with the live stream from the vehicle. That's going to be a nice little. You think Tommy behind the board is a mess now? Wait till it's outdoors.
That'll be amazing.
We're gonna need to pre-make one of those like, sorry, we're having technical difficulties, like signs with like the
written on a
old
board. Yeah,
like 1920s music or something.
And
you just hear us yelling in the background, "What the F? I said fix it!"
That'll be great.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry, we didn't get to Rygar tonight.
Oh, we missed Rygar.
Apologies, viewers. We'll do our best to try to get back to Rygar next week. But once again, and as always, thanks again for tuning in. I am Tommy, Ludio1. By all means, find me anywhere, everywhere. If you see us out, jump in, grab the sticks. That is Brandon, the Milwaukee Game Collector.
Another fine episode.
Bucks and 6.
Bucks and 6.
Bucks and 6, everyone.